My name is Peter Rutter. I teach math and circuits at Idea High School in Tacoma. And I am running for President of the United States of America. I have two young boys. My son Theo, he's 4. My other son Nate is 1. And as I look out today at the opportunities, the education, the access that lie before them as they reach adulthood, I am afraid. I'm afraid that the education that they will receive will make them good test takers, but not wise risk takers. That the education they will receive will equip them with tools that are vital for life in the 20th century, but not vital for life in this one. I'm afraid they'll be able to calculate the area under a curve of an arbitrary equation, but not be able to calculate their taxes. I'm afraid they'll be able to write a 5-paragraph essay for their teacher, but not write persuasively to call us all to action. I'm afraid they're going to have confidence to beat any video game, but not have the confidence to advocate for themselves or for others. I'm afraid if they work really hard and get really good grades and ace every test, that they'll have direct access to student loans and debt and not direct access to start a career. And most of all, I'm afraid that here, in the halls of power, that we will lack the courage to make the change that's needed for you and my boys to be able to walk out prepared and ready for this life in the 21st century. Why do we educate? What is the purpose of education? And I'm not asking this philosophically. Practically, what have you all been told every single day? You need to get a good education so you can get a good job. What's a good job? What does that mean? We could say that a good job fits you, your passions, your talents, your experiences. A good job is where you lead and you create change, you inspire others, you confront injustice and provide for the needy, and you leave the world a better place than you found it. And that dream, it's beautiful. It's worth pursuing. But it's also impossible. You can't all do that. We can't all do that. And it's the pursuit of this ideal that is taking the place of making sure that we raise the floor for everyone. It's the pursuit of the ideal for myself that makes me blind to raising the floor for everyone else. So let's talk about what a good job is, but not in its ideal, but what the floor should be, what it should be for all of us. I think it really comes down to 2 things. A job that's a good job is one that you're good at and that pays the bills. So what does it mean to be good at something? And how do you learn what you're good at? You don't learn what you're good at by a test, but from experiences, from challenges you actually have to overcome. It's not by expectation of perfection and the grades that must be the way they are to gain you access to higher education, but rather from real tasks in the real world while you're still here with us to help you and to help teach you how to navigate this life. And it won't come You won't learn what you're good at from a piece of paper that you get in your hand that says, I have a degree in this. But rather what those hands and your mind can actually do. And I want to brag a little bit, because some of you guys have shown. In fact, many of you have shown, and I don't have time for you all, but I do want to brag a bit. The t-shirts you're wearing, the button on my shirt, and the stickers and the banners were created by a student, by Clara. And I think you guys would all acknowledge they're pretty awesome. Better than anything I could do. I look at it and I'm proud because she did it. We have a student who doesn't have social media at all, and yet they were part of our social media team. And we're kind of leading the way of helping actually manage and plan and strategize and think about the creation of content, and that's Gretchen. We have a student who doesn't speak up a lot. When he speaks, his voice is soft, but he has helped write the speeches that you just heard today, and that's Banner. We have a student who in all his previous education has been discounted and overlooked, and he, by his own hands, helped make the shirts you're wearing. He put shirts on your back, and that's Ben. And we have a student who's doing Running Start and has only been with us half the time, and yet he's helped look through what it actually takes to raise funds as a political campaign and to make a plan and a budget and to manage our expenses so that you guys could have all those things that you have there. And that's Charlie. And you guys get to discover what you're good at by actually doing things. But a good job isn't just something you're good at, it also has to pay the bills. And I have really big dreams for my boys. But you know what all of them assume? That they can pay their bills. Public education is an investment, not just into you, but also us. But what is that public investment getting us now? Nearly 70% of high school graduates will have $30,000 of debt. The pay gap between high school, those who hold a high school diploma, and those who hold a college degree is growing, which means you have to go into debt. You have no choice. And if you have no choice, we have burdened you with debt just so you can make a living. If the best outcome of our public investment is the best outcome, meaning the best student, just simply qualifies to go into debt to have more school, then we have failed you. And don't get me started on the lack of education on personal finance. We don't have time for that. So what could it look like to train you for this life? Well, in this course, I asked you, my students, to draft a constitution and carry it out. To make a plan on how to get on the ballot and figure it out. What steps do we need to take? I asked you to design logos, stickers, t-shirts, banners. Not just design them, but make them. I asked you to research real issues and propose real solutions. I asked you to write persuasively and with conviction. I asked you to promote a movement and gain a following. I asked you to set a budget and prioritize your resources. I asked you to unlock the doors to the halls of power and let those who dwell within know that you are here and you know how to get the job done. I asked you to lay the groundwork so that other student volunteers, including some here, can take what you've started and finish the race and actually get on the ballot in November. And you did this together. This wasn't a graphic design class, yet people did graphic design. This was not a writing class, but people did writing. This was not a finance class, but people managed money. You did it together. And I am proud of what you've done. I'm proud of what you've done. What you've wrestled through, what you've overcome, and what you've set in motion. And for those of you watching, we invite you to follow our journey. Follow us on social media at Rutter-Mylet 2020, and we ask you to share our dream, to share this dream that education can be something so much more, because when you go home, and when I go home, I want to be able to look my boys in the eye and tell them, Daddy did his best. Thank you.